Every artist has two kinds of sketchbooks. The nice ones with all the pretty pictures, and the super secret one that no one ever sees with all the ugly drawings. I think artists in general want to show their best work off to the world. They want to be judged by the best of themselves, not the worst. And that's human nature. That's totally normal. So my travel journals are a bit nicer. I spend some time on each little painting. I think about composition and color and storytelling when I put these sketchbook pages together, but I do it for me because it makes me happy. I like looking back at these pages. They're memories of sad times or happy times or places I was brave enough to visit for the first time. These are my memories. These are my moments that I want to capture in the best way I know how to. Each book represents a period of my life. Like this was when I went to Venice, Italy. I'd never been so far away from the Hobbit hole before in my life, and I spent a week sketching with a class, and it was amazing. And I could look back on my art and my notes just by going to the bookshelf and grabbing this sketchbook. Other sketchbooks, like my hair journal, are just a chance for me to explore my art. They're practice in a way, but they're also a chance for me to look at the world and people in a different way too. These are our nice sketchbooks. Then there's this thing. This is the sketchbook artists don't show the world. This is their private thoughts and sketches, and this is where we work out our ideas and our compositions, and we just scribble for us. This is the sketchbook no one ever sees, but today I'm showing it to you. These are my sketches of Ian McKellen when we were recording Animal Crackers, and they're not great. They don't really look 100% like him, but they're just sketches. They're just doodles, and you could see I was kind of working out the idea of where I'm going to place the different sketches because I was going to do more than one sketch on a single sheet. And this was Harvey Fierstein. And again, you can see I was kind of plotting out where I was going to put the different pieces together in the composition of the page. Okay, these are hilarious because this was supposed to be Danny DeVito, and it looks like a little troll. These were so bad. This is why no one sees these things. These were just really, really bad. We were making Muppets to talk about the experience of making animal crackers. We were gonna, when I say we, me and my son Logan, we were building Muppets, and we'd never made Muppets before, so we were kind of drawing it out and trying to figure out how to do it. And this was going to be a Muppet Ryan Kavanaugh, because he was a really bad guy who did really bad things to us on the movie, and we were going to do a Ryan Kavanaugh Muppet. I think I was practicing shapes for caricature because I'm always fascinated by caricatures, and I just can never understand it. This was for the drawing hands video. I was kind of working because I hate drawing hands, and so I was looking at my own hand and trying to draw it. This is for the drawing noses video. I even drew the lettering, which I'm really bad at too. Back to caricature. I was trying to do a caricature of Agatha from the TV show. And what is it? Is it always Agatha or Agatha All Along? I think is what the show is called. And I didn't really get it. I'd love to do caricature. I'd love to have my art be more than just a copy of something, but more an exaggeration, and you might see that throughout. And there's a little eyeball. I forget what I did that for, but I think sometimes when we were doing lives, people would ask me how to draw stuff, and so I'll pull out this sketchbook and I'll draw on the back of a page. This was for, it was for a paid advertisement to paint on an Xbox controller. And so I was just I traced the Xbox controller, and then I just kind of drew on it, and I wound up doing this one. These are more lives. We were doing this I'm sorry, these were more caricatures we were doing during a live. And so this was, I think, Mike from Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. This is, I think their name is Mason Alexander from, they're also in Sandman, but this was from Quantum Leap. This is Morpheus from Sandman. And Gustavo from Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. And I always thought that Mike had this like light bulb shape head, but I just could not get it right. I really hold people who do caricature in high regard. This was, we were probably doing a live and we were talking about shapes and breaking things down and lighting. And so I think I did this during a live just as an example. More trying to learn caricature. I was trying to draw Taylor Swift and I did it very poorly. This was a project I was working on with Snoop Dogg, and we were trying to do a Snoop Dogg as a dog, and it's not really my specialty, so I think I did the one little sketch and went, nope, not mine. This was some ideas I think I had for just some drawings. You can see this is actually the beginning of the Dragon and Centaur. Was someone with a bow and arrow and then a dragon behind them. And this is the very first version of the Gothic vampire. We were doing this live, I think, and I had some photos of different people that I liked the photos, and I drew the character in one aspect ratio, and then I said, well, what if it was a wide shot? So I did that, and I thought, what if there was a stained glass behind them? And I didn't really like that as much, so I did another one, and I did the bookshelf, and I think this was the one that I just really fell in love with. But I still did another one where the hair was more of a design. But this is the one I eventually turned into a painting. And you know what? I'm gonna show you. Let me just go get it, and this is the painting. So this came from this sketch, which is really cool. And this was just another photo. It was just a woman with her back turned to us. And I thought, well, what if the dress was kind of swoopy? No, don't like that. What if the hair was swooshy? What if they were breaking the border a little bit here and here? What if the hair was flowing back this way? And then just for some reason I said, well, what if there was a dragon? And I really liked this one. And this eventually turned into the Dragon and Centaur painting. Remember this was during the live. This is more just ideas, more thumbnails. And then I came back to the Dragon and Centaur painting. I thought this could be really fun. So I thought, let me just work out the shapes. Well, what if I make the dragon bigger, 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 bigger? And then this was just more practice, finding photos online and then just drawing them and seeing if anything comes of it. This is why you have sketchbooks like this, where you can just doodle. They don't have to be nice. You don't have to finish them. You can just kind of experiment and play. This was for a video about the Gothic vampire, showing how I changed the lighting on the neck collar. These are just quick little figure drawings to see if one of these might be something I'd be interested in. Or playing around with the Dragon Centaur. This is what my sketchbook is filled with. It's filled with ideas. I find photos and I see if there's a story there. How big can I make that dragon? How big can I make the dragon? What's the right shape? What's the right placement of this? And this was kind of the first idea I had of just kind of swooshing the dragon around, and you could see I'm playing around with that shape. Can I do that? And I kept just trying to find a shape to give that dragon mass to make it feel, compared to the human, to make it feel just huge. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm just seeing how big can I make it. Should it have 3 heads? And then this is the first idea I had, to have them be a centaur. So these are just, I don't need to draw the dragon every time. This is their head. It's just a triangle. This is the shape that I'm going to go with. And here I've got some photo reference that I like, and I'm seeing, okay, now I'm going to draw it a little bit tighter, and I'm going to see if I like this. Should there be a gang of people? And these were the different ideas I wound up coming up with that I really liked. So these are the tighter drawings. So this was going to have a bunch of people. We're going to call it the guild, which I eventually did the guild in a different way. And then the hunters, companion, and then the alliance. And I eventually wound up doing the alliance. That was the one that I wound up painting. And this is the final painting. It's a bit bigger, but you can kind of see. I even have where the dragon is and the centaur are breaking the border, which I like. They're breaking the border here and here. But all that came from how many drawings, how many ideas, how many thumbnails over weeks and weeks and weeks of just, well, maybe I'll come back to it. Maybe I'll come back to it. This was, we had Octobear, if you remember Octobear, and a company wanted to see if they could do plush toys, and they needed turnaround. So I had painted these characters from the front, and they wanted to see what they look like from the side and the back. And so we did this during a live where I just sketched the characters from the back. A bunch of little bear butts. Here we were talking about the difference between, was it a drake and a wyvern and a, because I think different dragons, like some dragons have like their wings or their hands and they have back legs. Others have 4 legs and wings, and we were kind of talking about that. And then I had an idea to make a mermaid. I was thinking of doing some sort of mermaid, but I think it never got past this stage. I was just, when I think of something, I'm trying to think of what the storytelling is in the painting. What am I going to do? This was for the video where I talk about negative space, and we were talking about how the same image with all of this negative space not really thought out is not as interesting as this one, where you're creating these really nice shapes with the negative space. Oh, and over here, my friend Charlotte was giving me notes on the different races in like Dungeons and Dragons, so that way I could create the guild. So this was my research on a phone call for the guild. And these are, do you know the little cartoon versions that I have of me in my thumbnails for my videos? These were really bad ideas that I was sending to my friend Tracy, who I paid to make those for me. And so I was saying it should be like this and like this and like this. So it was enough to get the point across. This was probably most likely during a live, someone asked how you do lighting. More ideas, flying, being free. I think I was listening to music and I was trying to capture the feeling I get from certain songs or certain parts of a song, and never really got there. More caricature. Star Trek. But just trying to see, I think whenever I push stuff outside of photo, looking like a photo, I always feel like I don't do a good job of it. These are really, oh, this was meant to be seen this way, I think. Yeah, this was for, I think you'll see it better this way. So I wanted to do these giant statues and then these people kind of running, like this is a foot and a leg going up. And so I was kind of just really thinking of something like that where I was just trying to play with scale and see if there was a story there. This was when I was working on Medusa, and I didn't know if I should have the snakes facing one way or another. This was working on becoming an artist. These were my thumbnails for the cover for my book. These are all my ideas. I eventually painted this one and this one. And of course this one. But these are the this is where all of the thought process goes. This is for an idea. I was thinking of doing a second Gothic vampire, and kind of almost a companion piece with another woman vampire lounging next to a fire with maybe a dagger. This was when I was doing the Ghibli thing. This was a second pass, and I was trying to teach myself how to do a Ghibli version of me. This was an idea I had for maybe a potential second album cover, and it was maybe like a mermaid or something, kind of like they're almost like they're trapped in a box, kind of looking at us. See, but I'm more interested in the negative space than I think anything else. And this is working on the Howard Jones poster that never happened. I mean, I finished the painting, but these were the thumbnails. And this was the tight drawing. And that's it. And that's my sketchbook that I don't ever show anybody. And this is where all of the doodles and the thumbnails and your thoughts and everything kind of come in. And this is where the big paintings come from. This is like the working out part before you show off your muscles. And honestly, I think it's the most important part of being an artist. And I think more artists should show their ugly sketchbooks and be proud of them.